Welcome to the Know, I'm John Reisinger.
And I'm Reg Nisirnaj.
Yep, gear up Pathfinders. Mass Effect Andromeda is only a little over a month away. For some reason, we still haven't had a huge info dump about the game just yet, but hey, does it have space exploration and tons of quests?
Check.
Can you still diddle just about everybody in the galaxy?
Check.
Does it still play like a cover-based shooter that uses some RPG-ish elements?
Check the right way.
Does it have that sweet Paragon Renegade dialogue wheel?
No! It fucking doesn't! We've got new reports that Mass Effect Andromeda will be ditching the series' beloved Paragon Renegade system.
So this news comes from a new interview between Mass Effect Andromeda director Mac Walters and Games Radar, where Walters unveiled the new direction for how the series will handle conversations. There, he said that Paragon Renegade will be changing to something more like agree-disagree.
Walter said the reason Paragon and Renegade are gone is because they were very tied to the Shepard characters, so they didn't really make sense if we weren't going to have Shepard as our protagonist.
He went on to say, with agree and disagree, it changes by the circumstance and it changes by the character you're talking to, so you have to actually be more engaged in what's going on to know if you're going to do that.
That makes sense. For BioWare, this will allow you to roleplay even more when you play the game, which is good because so far there doesn't seem to be much of that at all. Thinking more about how you want to express yourself.
And according to Walters, that's going to happen in one of four ways, or four tones of voice. They'll be talking more about those tones of voice at a later date, which you guys are kind of running out of runway for since the game is out in like 6 weeks.
We sort of knew that BioWare was considering going in a different direction in Andromeda's conversation system prior to this. Last year, they made comments about wanting to move away from black and white morality and instead find more stories to tell within the spaces of gray.
While some fans will no doubt be a little upset about this news and will yell it in a newsread, the Paragon and Renegade system is a huge part of the series. It makes sense that it was unique to Shepard's situation in the games.
Shepard was tasked with saving the galaxy by any means necessary, and the system was a tangible expression of one of the series' central questions. Do the ends justify the means?
Which is why you got to headbutt the shit out of some Krogans. That you guys need to put that in Andromeda.
However, that explanation from BioWare is also a tad suspect, because anybody who has any familiarity with their backlog of games knows that it's a holdover from KOTOR, which basically used the same system, but with light side and dark side choices. So saying it was only meant for Shepard is a bit of a cop-out.
Naturally, this adds to a somewhat troubling pile of issues which are giving some fans anxiety about Mass Effect Andromeda. There are a couple of other reasons to be nervous. For one, we haven't seen hardly anything about the game, and it's out next month.
But in addition to ditching Paragon and Renegade choices, Andromeda is also ditching classes, which is weird, and removing itself so far from the events of the last series that we won't have any updates on anybody we cared about from the Milky Way.
Plus, BioWare's already got a little bit of a reputation for watering things down from the first game's more RNG-based RPG roots into something more action-heavy with each successive entry. Fans have also expressed concerns about some of the game's dialogue and facial animation, which BioWare have responded directly to over the last few months.
This new agree-disagree dialogue system sounds dangerously like what we saw in Fallout 4, where your wheel is basically just yes, no, sarcastic. That one didn't sit well after the options of Fallout 3 and New Vegas. Most of the time you weren't really sure what your character was going to say after you made your selection.
I'm gonna have to agree with that. However, the four tones mentioned by Walters make it sound much more like Dragon Age Inquisition. That title did focus more on shades of gray, with responses encompassing basic emotions: stoic, pleased, sad, mad, confused, and surprised, with a special option thrown in depending on your background.
In some ways, that dialogue system did enhance the RPG aspect of it, allowing you to roleplay your character based on your own personality. But at times it was criticized for being a way to cover up the fact that most of your choices were all leading to the same outcome, more or less.
I always like to try to see how big of a dick I can be in the games. Like, just go the meanest route possible and see what happens.
So like for games, it's not like a fantasy where you do something different than life?
It's just
interesting.
Me. Judging by what we've seen so far, that might be the case. Our first real look at a dialogue wheel happened during the first official gameplay trailer back in December.
When Pathfinder Ryder inquires about a missing person, she's asked, "What is he to you? Don't lie to me." From there, the dialogue options are all pretty similar. None of your business. I'll be honest with you. Let's cut to the chase and get over yourself.
Can we get another read of that last line?
Get over yourself.
One more, but like really tired.
Get over yourself.
There you go. In Mass Effect, the binary examples always gave you a pretty decent indication of how events were going to unfold next. A Paragon action would appeal to the Paragon members of your party. A Renegade action would appeal to those with the more roguish personalities. There wasn't much to second guess.
However, this did put you at odds with certain party members right off the bat. So there was a downside. It made it harder to keep characters happy with a different alignment than yours, which made an especially big difference in Mass Effect 2. where your actions can decide whether or not a party member dies.
From the sound of it, Mass Effect Andromeda is taking a lot of cues from Dragon Age Inquisition. Its open world design, for one, more closely resembles Inquisition than previous Mass Effect games. There have even been some other comments from BioWare over the last year that also indicate this to be the case.
Dragon Age Inquisition was a solid game, but there's a feeling among some of its critics that it's a bit forgettable and still doesn't hold a candle to Dragon Age Origins, which is hard. A game, for all that its faults, managed to be unique and incredibly ambitious.
Could we be looking at the same thing with Mass Effect Andromeda? I mean, let's hope not, but we won't have to wait that much longer to find out because it comes out next month.
What do you guys think of Mass Effect Andromeda throwing out one of the biggest staples of the original series in the Paragon and Renegade system? Let us know in the comments below.
For future updates on Mass Effect Andromeda, remember to like this video and subscribe to the know. None of your business.
I'll be honest with you.
Let's cut to the chase.
Get over yourself.
That's a good read.
This is an audition right now.
Yeah.
I'll just send it to BioWare right now.
Did you get my name read? That was your name backwards.
Oh, was it?
Yes.
Good. I like that.